The Leap is about giving you the ability to explore your potential so you can keep up with the fast-paced world we live in. Leap into the future with Flo's broadband packages. Turbo 10, $75. Turbo 20. Turbo 30. And introducing Turbo 100. Leap, let's evolve as people.
This is CC6 Newsnight Week in Review for March 10th to 13, 2014. It was the week in which a 39-year-old vice principal makes his first court appearance to answer charge of rape of a minor. Fast-moving fire completely destroys 4 homes in Guelph. RGPF drug squad makes its biggest bust with seizure of $6 million worth of cocaine. In sports, Grenada to host regional teams in a 4-day cricket match at the end of the month. Stay with us to bring you details when we return.
Paint it, landscape it, accessorize it, renovate it, make it yours.
Your dream home is already built and waiting for you. Grenada Cooperative Bank's Independent Special offers attractive properties in prime locations. No legal fees, no loan fees, and special discounts on interest rates. And ask about our Property Hunters Day. Call or visit us today and make it yours.
Make it yours.
Large windows, large doors, small windows, small doors. At St. Lou Metal, the size doesn't matter. You order the size you want and we make it to your specifications. If you need our new heavy-duty casement windows or half-inch impact or laminated glass or any other doors and windows, no problem. What size? Any size. You get it at St. Lou Metal. And coming soon, PVC windows and hurricane shutters. St. Lou Metal, 19 Frequente Industrial Park, powered by Grenadian Innovation.
Thanks for joining us. I am Samantha Williams. A vice principal accused of sexually assaulting a minor earlier this month was granted bail on Tuesday in the sum of $25,000 after making his first court appearance before a St. George's magistrate.
39-year-old Vice Principal Devon Francis on Tuesday made his first court appearance before Magistrate Tamara Gill at the No. 1 Magistrates Court in St. George's to answer a charge of rape of a minor, an incident that allegedly occurred on March 5th. Francis, who is represented by attorney-at-law Anselm Clouden, was granted bail in the sum of $25,000 with 2 sureties. With instructions not to go within 100 yards of the school at which he taught, surrender all travel documents, he is forbidden to make contact with the complainant or witnesses, and report to the Central Police Station on Monday and Fridays between the hours of 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. On exiting the court, Clouden spoke with members of the media, saying the charges brought against his clients are just mere allegations.
It's an allegation, as all allegations, and the Crown would have to prove their case. I mean, you know, my client is innocent of the charges, and it's very unfortunate that he has been pulled in and pulled through this entire ordeal. But as far as I'm concerned, he's innocent, and we are prepared to await our day in court to vindicate his innocence.
With the amendment to the criminal code, the maximum sentence for the alleged crime is 30 years.
Well, there's an amendment to the criminal code, and that amendment carries a maximum sentence of 30 years imprisonment. But we are not going down that road. We're not looking at that. That's just the new amendment that they had proffered in 1912.
One educator who was on the compound of the court and did not want his face to appear on camera shared his view on the implications of the allegation on the education system.
It will shake the confidence of parents and the public at large. Provided it turns out to be true, we must always proceed on the assumption of innocence until one is proven guilty in a court. But, you know, people send their children to an institution, and teachers are supposed to be the surrogate parents So if whenever something like this happens, it must, shake the confidence of the public and the parents in particular.
The educator says the Ministry of Education's counseling system will have to be put into full effect, as the outcome could be devastating for both teachers and students.
I think it would be prudent for the counselors to intervene, and at the same time we must keep bearing in mind that this is an allegation up to this point, and we should not be going about condemning any individual until a court has proven them guilty.
Francis's attorney says as it relates to his employment, the normal public service rules will apply.
Usually on an allegation such as it is, you're interdicted on half pay. So I think since there's an allegation and a charge, then he'd be interdicted. Those are the rules of the public service, and no one is above the rule of law and the rules.
Devon Francis is due to make his second court appearance on May 29th. Sherry Noel, CC6 Newsnight.
The Smith family of Edward Street, Guelph, is still trying to come to terms with the loss of their homes due to a fire on Saturday night that quickly destroyed other homes in the community.
This site contains the debris from what used to be 4 houses after fire gutted the structures on Saturday night, all within a matter of minutes. Some family members say they were faced with a situation where they had to run for their lives in order to avoid being trapped. When CC6 Newsnight arrived on the scene Monday, there were signs that the rubble was once someone's home, as 20-pound cylinders and other items could easily be identified. 5 people affected by the fire are students of the St. Rose Modern Secondary School, and some of their classmates, along with the principal and a teacher, were on hand to offer support. 2 of the students, Cassia Smith, who is in Form 4, and Latifa Smith, Form 5, say they are both happy to be alive.
Me and my friend just coming from town, enjoy ourselves. So we come up, and same time my mother tell me, well, come and want to sleep because we have church and thing tomorrow. But same time my brother, as we lie down, same time my brother say, where the skin is at? So I was like, what going on that damn thing? And then after now, he see, well, he's had to call everybody, so I tried to rush me, nephew, and them through the window and things.
It was about after 10, I just reached home and I changed my clothes and went to bed. And then about 3 minutes after, my brother jumped up and said, fire, fire. And then my nephew was on the bed with me. I grabbed him and I ran to the front room. And then all I remember is just I take some sheets and wrap them and pass them out the window. And me and my mom run out from the front room. And as we reach outside, everything just sketched. And then we run up by the neighbors because the fire was coming up. And then after, the firefighters came and tried to control it. And then that was it.
One of the neighbors who was affected by the fire is Trevor John. He says on hearing the screams, he immediately rushed to see what assistance could be given.
When I get out, I rush to the pipe. When I reached, the house was full on fire. So I went to the pipe trying to see if I could order the first house. There, this house where the fire catch. And when I went in the bathroom, the wind started blowing. And I was trying to order the first house, thinking that we could get control of the fire. But the help wasn't sufficient. Yeah? So I was to do what I'll do. When we catch the second house, I went to I in the bathroom, but the heat started taking me. The fire heat started taking me, so I also leave the bathroom and head to the river.
Officer attached to the Guelph Police Station, Martin Plenty, says they were challenged to get the area secure as the heat coming from the buildings were very intense.
We have a few challenges because the place was electrically charged with wires, electrical wires all about the place. So we have to be more cautious here. There was a lot of people in the community that would have come and see, which would have been a little challenge again to assist. However, we have taken our time out to see that everything went well. However, the heat source was very intense. However, we would have risked our lives to see that everything happened in the right way. If you can see the area there, you can see the heat. We would have been standing right at the house there. The heat was intense. So we would have, it was 2 of us, we had was to pay attention to see if this house there, because this house was already on fire. Okay. We have this house there also on fire. We have this one on fire.
Police are continuing their investigation into the cause of the fire, and the family is still trying to come to terms with the incident. Parliamentary Representative for St. John, Honorable Alvin Dabrio, says the fast-moving fire should be a stern warning to homeowners about the close proximity in which their houses are located to neighbors. The blaze gutted the homes in a matter of minutes, and officials say the closeness of the structures played a part in how swiftly the damage occurred. Addressing post-cabinet briefing on Tuesday, the parliamentary representative says the work of the physical planning unit of the Ministry of Finance is usually seen as a hindrance to some, but the importance of that department cannot be overlooked.
I wish people would adhere more to because some people look at physical planning as a hindrance, and as an obstacle but what it is, we have to look at it not as an obstacle, but as a necessity, and that the reason for it is so that we could have safer, dwelling houses and a safer environment. So I would hope that, as I say, we definitely would be consulting with physical planning on the structures, but I hope that other people that's building in the future, would try to adhere with the regulations so that we would not have tragedies like this.
Meanwhile, the National Disaster Management Agency, NADMA, has set up a small committee to aid in identifying the immediate needs of the families affected by the fire, and a bank account has also been established to facilitate financial contributions from the public. A number of items have already been distributed to the families as well. Janelle Ruben, CC6 Newsnight.
Over the past few weeks, over $7 million worth of cocaine has been seized by the RGPF drug squad. The largest haul was made last Friday during a joint collaboration between a number of local and international agencies.
The Royal Grenada Police Force drug squad has made its largest burst ever with the confiscation of over $6 million worth of cocaine. Following a collaborative effort between the Coast Guard, RGPF Drug Squad and the DPP's office last Friday aboard the vessel Real Steel, the burst resulted in the seizure of one fishing trawler. Superintendent Rodriguez James, in charge of the RGPF Drug Squad, spoke to the media on Monday at the Coast Guard.
Mounted a search operation on board a vessel that was docked at the lagoon, St. George's. During that search operation, a brick-like package was found. A field test was conducted. The results showed that it was positive for cocaine. As a result, further searches or more in-depth search was conducted aboard that vessel. During that search, 5 bags was found in a compartment at the stern of the vessel. The bags were open, and the contents and in the bags were brick-like material or packages along with cylindrical packages. Tests on samples of these packages returned a positive test for cocaine.
During that operation, the captain and owner of the boat, Paul De Roche, as well as Afab Ali, have so far been charged, and 2 other people were taken into custody, whose charges are imminent, Superintendent James says.
The weight of the drugs amounted to approximately 60 kilograms, and the estimated street value is approximately $6 million East Caribbean currency. In comparison with other large seizures, the first very large seizure was way back about 1995 when we had a seizure of 45 kilos. Then in 2010 we had a seizure of 54 kilos, and now this is our largest seizure, 60 kilograms of cocaine.
In a little over a week, thousands of pounds of marijuana have also been confiscated at a value of about $1.6 million.
Between the 25th of February and the 5th of March, over 740 pounds of cannabis was also seized in 3 major operations. The first major operation was at Lake Antoine, the Lake Antoine area, where a total of 191 pounds of cannabis was seized. Again in Carriacou, where 102 pounds was also seized. And here in Grenada, in St. David's area, Malmont, Cocaine area, 346 pounds of cannabis was seized. And that is all within a period of between the 25th and the 5th of March.
The drug squad head says officials in the U.S. have noted that the trafficking of cocaine in the Caribbean has increased by 8%. The men have been charged with possession of a controlled drug, trafficking of a controlled drug, and handling of a controlled drug. The operation on Friday also had support from the Drug Enforcement Agency in the U.S. and the British organization, the National Crime Agency, as there was an international dimension to this case, Superintendent James says. Sherry Ann Noel, CC6 Newsnight.
When we return, PM Mitchell explains why Parliament approved amendment to Grenada's Citizenship by Investment program.
You want your loved ones around to celebrate, especially those living far. And with Digicel Top-Up, Dad can help you bring life to the party and be part of the celebration. Ask him to send you Digicel Minutes. Receive free instant additional credit. And stay connected here and there. Ask your family abroad to send Digicel Minutes today.
The Leap is about giving you the ability to explore your potential, so you can keep up with the fast-paced world we live in. Leap into the future with Flo's broadband packages. Turbo 10, $75. Turbo 20, Turbo 30, and introducing Turbo 100. Leap, let's evolve as people.
Breeze removes stains in the first wash. The other detergents, not always. You have to wash it all again and use twice the amount. So, which one costs more? Do the math. Choose Breeze. Unbeatable stain removal.
Welcome back. Grenada has revised and relaunched its Citizenship by Investment program, but just months after the bill was passed in Parliament, it was back in the House for an amendment, which will make it difficult, if not impossible, for the general public to know who may be on their way to becoming citizens of the country.
Prime Minister Dr. the Right Honourable Keith Mitchell has explained why Parliament voted to remove paragraph B of Section 15, subsection 3 of the Citizenship by Investment Act, which allowed for full disclosure of the identities of people who apply for Grenada citizenship under the Act. Speaking with reporters on the fringes of the 25th intersessional meeting of CARICOM heads of government in St. Vincent and the Grenadines on Tuesday, Prime Minister Mitchell outlined why that section of the Act was removed.
I think, first of all, I think it was a fundamental error when we did the whole question of it. If we look at economic citizenship, no matter what country, no one puts out the name of every single person they give citizenship to. They don't do that. So that clearly was a non-starter. That was an error on our part, and we corrected it. If you look around the globe, you don't see anyone, including the United States and other countries, doing this. And therefore, we did the right thing in correcting that weakness.
Two government ministers on Tuesday had promised that information on why the requirement to make public the names of applicants has been removed from the Act, but up to news time on Thursday, CC6 Newsnight had received no such statement. Citizenship by investment is one of the measures the Keith Mitchell-led administration has decided on to raise revenue for the country, but the program is under harsh scrutiny as a similar venture in the 90s had led to embarrassment for Grenada when people granted citizenship turned out to be criminals. Blossom Alexis Welsh, CC6 Newsnight.
Tourism Minister Alexandra Otway-Noel has closed a deal with an international airline to return its services to Grenada, and that arrangement is expected to reopen a number of markets and help boost the country's tourism.
Minister of Tourism and Civil Aviation, Honorable Alexandra Otway-Noel, says she has closed a deal with Condor Airlines after months of negotiations that will see the return of the German airlines to Grenada later this year. Addressing post-cabinet briefing at the ministerial complex on Tuesday, the minister says the deal was finalized during her trip to Berlin for the annual International Tourism Trade Fair last week. She says talks resumed with officials of the airlines during a conference in the U.S. last year, and after continuous discussions with the carrier, her efforts have paid off.
Condor will be returning to Grenada sometime around the 8th of November, every Saturday until April, so we will start off with a winter program. And we're very, very excited because the European market is very strong and they're traveling. And unfortunately, during the last administration, the flight was given up. And so we worked very hard. We started at the Roots Conference in Las Vegas, which is where there's 700 airlines under one roof. And then we moved on to the World Travel Market, and we met them there again, and we had been negotiating for some time. And so we're very happy to say that we signed the agreement with them at the ITB in Berlin. So the tour operators there were very excited to hear that.
The return of Condor Airlines is expected to be a major boost for the country's tourism industry, as it will once again reopen access to the German market, provide a gateway to the rest of Europe, as well as service Asian travelers, she says. Tour operators attending the ITB conference in Berlin expressed excitement at the news of the return of Condor to Grenada.
We did interviews with the travel trade press and other tour operators from Austria, and France and Italy as well, and Switzerland as well, and there's lots of business out there, so we're starting to tap into some of these markets, which of course would benefit from a direct flight out of Frankfurt. We are also very pleased because our Chinese visitors, all the business that goes to Asia, will be very happy to have this flight through Frankfurt. It will help them, having not to change airports in London anymore. They can fly directly to Frankfurt and then directly to Grenada. So it's a very positive thing. We're very excited. I know that our local hotel sector is very pleased, and the German visitors have loved Grenada for a long time, so we will be very happy to welcome them back in November.
Minister Otway Noel says Grenada has been out of the German market for too long, and it is an important one for the country's tourism. Blossom Alexis Welsh, CC6 Newsnight.
The OECS, with funding assistance from the United States Agency for International Development, has embarked on a campaign to rally the region to action on climate change. And this special feature provides you with the information on how climate change can affect you and what you can do about it.
If you look at the health of people and how does climate change affect their health, it affects it in a number of ways. If you look at the issue of food security, climate change impacts food security in a number of ways. One, the price of imported food goes up. As we've seen that this year based on droughts throughout the world. In addition, our own local production is affected by climate change, both in terms of droughts and floods, which will affect agricultural produce. In addition to that, even if you look at the sea, our fishing products, they get impacted too, because with floods, with erosion of soil, silt and chemicals, and the water temperature, it impacts our reef, it impacts our fish stock. So food security is a big issue, and that impacts people's health, because if there's not enough food, if there's not enough quality food, malnutrition is the result. Then there's water security. Water, and we've seen it in St. Lucia, drought followed by flood. In both situations, your water quality drops. One, you may not have enough. People start to store water. The storage of water, depending on how they store it, produces mosquitoes. So there are lots of issues like that. Plus the very quality of the water coming out of the municipal or the government, the public supply. Last year, I think we were talking about the issues of drought and then the issues of flood with regards to our water supply. Water is critical. Water is also a vector. It carries a number of different diseases, bacteria and viruses. Diarrheal diseases, that's gastroenteritis, affects our people when the water quality drops. In particular, the most vulnerable are the very young, the very old, and those who are immunocompromised. So that is another area where climate change is going to impact, or does impact already, on our health. Then if you look at infrastructure, you can see what a storm can do to displace people. In our own context, we saw a hurricane and what it did to our communities. People who are displaced and become homeless need to be put into shelters of some kind. That has significant health effects. We saw it in our Thomas situation. We've seen it in Haiti For instance, probably the most striking example in the region as to what can happen when you displace people from their homes, what happens to them.
Coming up in sports, Queen's Baton officially welcomed to the Spice Isle on its Commonwealth journey.
The Leap is about giving you the ability to explore your potential so you can keep up with the fast-paced world we live in. Leap into the future with Flo's broadband packages. Turbo 10, $75. Turbo 20. Turbo 30. And introducing Turbo 100. Leap, let's evolve as people.
Life in Grenada. Aye, we have the spice, we have the flavor. I'm sorry that you're sorry, but sorry's not so good enough for me, baby. I'm sorry that you're sorry, but sorry can't dry my tears, lady. And each time we try, you come with your same story. Now you're sorry, but I'm sorry cause I can't accept a apology.
Live on Community Channel 6 every Saturday, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. It's Sound System Saturday.
Welcome back. Grenada gave a grand welcome to the Queen's Baton as it makes its way around the world ahead of the Commonwealth Games carded for July. Meanwhile, the Spice Islands cricket lovers will get a chance to witness first-class action at its best with the holding of a match at the end of the month. Janelle Andrews has that report.
The Baton holding a message on the 2014 Commonwealth Games, which was delivered on October 9, 2013, by Queen Elizabeth II, who is the head of the Commonwealth, arrived in Grenada on Saturday. The baton relay around the world to Commonwealth nations is to demonstrate unity and diversity amongst the 53 Commonwealth nations. On its arrival to the Spice Isle, a short ceremony was staged at the Maurice Bishop International Airport, and among the people present were athletes, government officials, officials from the various sporting associations and the Olympic Committee. President of the Grenada Olympic Committee, Royston LaHaye, delivered some remarks on the arrival of the baton to Grenada.
It is a pleasure for us to have the baton here, and I think it's one of the most significant developments of the Commonwealth Games that the baton relay has now become an established part of the holding of the Commonwealth Games, because it signifies so much to the unity of the Commonwealth, to the spirit of the Commonwealth, to the friendliness of the Commonwealth nations.
Regional Vice President of the Commonwealth Games Federation is Fortuna Belrose.
We are also going to be taking a tour around Grenada and of course sampling communities such as where Kirani James is from, etc. Because we expect Kirani, if he runs this year, of course, to kill them all, you understand, at the games in Glasgow. We're really looking forward to showcase the best Caribbean athletes. We know we have the best, particularly the sprinters globally, and so we're hoping that these athletes can come through and do well for us at the games this year.
Some of the athletes present say they feel honored to be among a privileged few to embrace the 1.6 kilogram baton.
Commonwealth Games is one of the major games in the world, and I would like to pursue it in sometime in my lifetime. So it pushes me to train harder and to try to make the games at least one time.
Having the baton today in Grenada, I think, will be a motivation for the athletes to try and see if they will qualify to go to the Commonwealth Games.
I feel overwhelmed, and it motivates me to push forward to my dreams and goals.
The ceremony also featured cultural presentations through drumming and folk dancing, and the following day the baton journeyed throughout the island, then the sister isle of Carriacou and Petit Martinique, before leaving for Trinidad and Tobago on Monday. Over the following 288 days, the baton will cover more than 118,000 miles, averaging 1 to 4 days in each nation or territory, and will finish its journey at the opening ceremony of the Commonwealth Games in Scotland on July 23rd. Grenada is gearing up to host a cricket match between the Windward Island and Leeward Islands in round 5 of the WICB Regional 4-Day Cricket Tournament. This exciting four-day game is scheduled for March 28th to 31st at the Grenada National Cricket Stadium. This announcement was made by Minister of Sports Honorable Emlyn Pear at last Thursday's Parliament sitting.
Grenada would be hosting a regional cricket match, Windward Island versus Guyana, and that would be from the 28th to the 31st of March at the National Stadium.
36 people are currently engaged in a week-long FIFA's referees course at the Grenada National Stadium. The course, which is aimed at teaching potential referees the basics of the game, as well as providing a refresher for local referees, is being facilitated by FIFA instructor Livingston Bailey and head of the Caribbean Football Union Referees Department, Alfredo Whitaker. Mr. Whitaker spoke with Sports on 6 on Tuesday.
I'm very happy with the level of the referees that we have so far, with the enthusiasm that they've been displaying. And we're sure that this is going to contribute tremendously for the growth of football and officiating here in the beautiful Grenada.
This session is expected to instruct participants in a number of areas, including career in the field of refereeing, the laws of the game, the duties of a referee and assistant referee, as well as physical fitness. The course is very significant to Grenada at this time, he says.
Grenada for us in the CFU and CONCACAF is a very important island. It's an island that we have great expectations. So this year, when it comes to development, is a lot going on here in Grenada. The president had requests all of these courses. He's very passionate about the growth of football in his island, and obviously we have to accommodate that. We have to be ready to go to these countries that are interested in their development.
All participants will receive certification following the course and has the option to further pursue accreditation as a FIFA certified referee. We have come to the end of this Sports on 6 report. I am Janelle Andrews.
That's all we have for you in Sports on 6. A recap of the headlines is next. Recapping the headlines. It was the week in which a 39-year-old vice principal made his first court appearance to answer charge of rape of a minor. Fast-moving fire completely destroys 4 homes in Guelph. RGPF drug squad makes its biggest bust with seizure of $6 million worth of cocaine. In sports, Grenada to host regional teams in a 4-day cricket match at the end of the month. That brings us to the end of CC6 Newsnight Week in Review for March 10th to 13th, 2014. Top stories from CC6 Newsnight can also be seen on our Facebook page, Flow Community Channel 6. On behalf of the news team, I'm Samantha Williams-Worm, thanking you for joining us.